Hi everyone, welcome back to Megarasa. I am Mega and today I will take you to West Sumatra because today I'm going to make rendang padang. This dish is so often requested, so I will now show you how to make it. What do we need today? Of course meat, and I have 2 kilos of meat here. Why so much, you might think? To make rendang you need a lot of time, at least 4 hours. What I often do is just make a lot more of rendang. 2 kilos just fit in my pan, and then I can actually divide it with a little bit of a Ziploc bags or those containers. Then I can also just freeze it, so I always have rendang on hand. The freezer, that's just ideal. Then we have, of course, the chili peppers, a lot of shallots, garlic, and then I have here a little bit of Don Kunyit, turmeric leaf. You cannot find Don Kunyit easily find at a regular supermarket, but you can of course find it at an Asian supermarket, or just ask for Don Kunyit. They are usually found in the freezer at the Asian supermarket, which is commonly found in the store. And then we have Don Jeruk, and here Don lemongrass, or lemongrass, ginger, Laos, kencher, kenjoer. And then I have here all kinds of nice spices, such as cilantro, also known as coriander, cumin seeds, nutmeg spice powder, fennel seeds, all ground finely. And here are where you find cloves or cloves. And then salt and pepper to taste. Not too much pepper, because we already have some here. A lot of chili peppers. This is definitely a spicy beef dish, so if you don't like spicy, you can of course remove the seed pods later, or just use a little less. Put them in. All ingredients and quantities are listed on my website, megarasa.com. So then you can just check it later. And of course also, yes, not unimportant, the coconut milk. So we are definitely going to use that ingredient as it is crucial to our recipe. And I also ensure to incorporate the rich and creamy coconut cream, which is a vital component in our dish. So those are from 2 brands, but they are just the same. At that one Asian market, you will find this brand and this file from WR Razia, and this is Ambition, so you can simply just take that. And at the end, I do also just some fried coconut flakes. In the end, then you actually make a kind of serundeng. Serundeng means that you briefly, evenly, and lightly fry the coconut flakes in a frying pan until it becomes a bit golden. And then at the end, we will add it to the rendang. Then the rendang just tastes a bit better. Okay, well, that was it. Yes, you see it. It's a lot. Oh, I almost forgot. I also have asam here. Kandis, I'll show you that. It is also used in rendang padang if you do it traditionally. And then you have, yes, from Sumatra, from Padang, you use that asam kandis. But yes, it's actually hard to obtain in the Netherlands. Yes, you can find it on the internet. And what this is. It is a dried mundu fruit, and mundu is, yes, often found in Sumatra and also in India. It is indeed a relative of a mangosteen and super delicious. Only yes. So unfortunately hard to obtain in the Netherlands. You can also just replace it with tamarind. But normally on megarasa.com you see all the ingredients and the quantities, so that will be fine. And we are of course going to start with this very nice piece of beef. I have here sukade meat. You can of course also use other types of meat for stews. You can just ask your butcher, hey, I want to make rendang. Yes, just rib meat usually. And I have here sukade. That's also super tasty, but that's what you like. With beef shin, you have a layer of fat, and I just always find that tasty. And this is from the, how do you say that, from the foreleg part of the cow. And yes, that has, of course, moved a lot, exactly. So yes, actually super tasty, a lot, well, yes, good muscles in the fat. So that you can ask your butcher, so use good meat. Okay, well then I'm going to cut this. It is, of course, really a very large piece of meat. And then I'm going to cut it into nice and really thick slices. Take a closer look at the bottom section over there. Notice how it stands out from the rest of the area. It's quite distinct and worth observing carefully. There is a piece of fat. If you don't like it, you can of course remove it. But I actually like it with stew. So I just leave it on for a little bit longer period of time. and then I very carefully and precisely cut it in the middle once again. And when you are cutting for rendang, you shouldn't cut too small because it will simmer for a long time in the pan. And if you cut too small, then yes, the meat actually falls apart. So that's a little bit like pulled beef. That's also tasty, but you still want that structure. Well, yes, to taste, I mean, but so that's really tasty. So not too big and not too small. Yes, what is it? I think about 3 centimeters, a bit like this. Because it will all shrink in the pan shortly. Well, I have quite a bit of work that needs to be completed, and it's really important that I get it done as soon as possible. So let's make sure we pick up the pace and move quickly to finish everything on time. I appreciate your understanding and cooperation in helping me speed things up. The meat is now sliced, and now I'm going to continue with the red peppers, the lombok. I'll show you. Let's see. Well, as I said earlier, I love spicy food, so I just leave the seeds in. And yes, if you don't like them, you can, such as, or even if you prefer, carefully remove the seeds. To do so, then you gently cut this in half with a knife or a spoon as you wish at this point in the process. And then you can easily remove the seed pods all at once. This one doesn't really want to come out. This is one way. And the second way is very carefully cut the crown and then slowly and gently roll. And then if all goes well, the seeds come out. It doesn't always work as expected, and sometimes it takes a bit longer than anticipated. Well, you see, it is a process that requires patience and understanding. It is coming out now, but not everything is visible yet, and I need to be patient. I leave it as it is for now, hoping it will eventually work out in the end. Just to show you, you're still sitting here a little bit more, and there a little bit too, perhaps, for example. But it's a bit tricky when you have such a curly chili pepper like this one. Then it gets a bit tricky, so I think the first method is easier. But yes, you can also reduce by half the amount as you prefer, of course, if it's a little bit too spicy. Then I'll cut it a little bit more, just a little bit more. Smaller for the food processor, but yes, I naturally love spicy. So I keep the seeds in. Then I can just carefully cut like this. And yes, this is how I continue with the process at hand. Chili and shallots and the garlic. And then I put it in the food processor. And then I will do everything. Yes, grind it well actually, while I do that. Don't forget to subscribe, and of course, also press the bell so that you know when I make something delicious. And if you like this video, remember to like. I will continue with the chilies and the shallots. So what I'm doing right now is adding the final bits into the mixture. I've just carefully added a small amount of water to ensure everything blends together smoothly. This step is crucial for achieving the right consistency and texture in the final product. And I'm going to do this now too, because then it turns easier. You see it? It's already quite full. Sometimes I have to help push a little there, and yes, I can now. Nope. Actually do it right away. Then I can add the other spices in as well. I have the galangal here. I will now add the ginger and also the kencher. Let's go. shallots, garlic, ginger, soy sauce, and galangal are now thoroughly well mixed. And now we are going to continue with the other spices. I have here coriander seeds, also known as coriander powder. You can of course throw this in the pan, but I find this easier. Then everything is just well mixed. This is cumin. Then I have cloves. To prepare the dish, I start by taking some ground fennel seeds, which add a unique and aromatic flavor. Next, I incorporate a pinch of nutmeg, known for its warm and slightly sweet taste. Finally, I sprinkle in a little bit of pepper to give it a subtle kick and enhance the overall taste profile. Not much, of course, because there are already a lot of peppers in, and a little salt to start with. Not too much, because otherwise, if it's too much, with a pinch of salt, you can't take it back. Little by little, gradually and surely, step by step. We are going to mix this again. The bumbu is now ready, so I have all the spices here: peppers, onions, and garlic. And I am now going to prepare the coconut. I am using the coconut cream and also the coconut milk. And this is, as you can see, really vacuumed, and it is quite a hassle to open, I think. So you need to have a pair of scissors with you, and then very carefully cut the sides. And then you can very gently open it like this. And I just want all of that coconut, indeed, of course. Take with me. So clean it very well here thoroughly. And what I also do is carefully cut the block properly in advance, ensuring precision so that it can be easily divided, because this is going to melt, of course. And if you do it in small pieces, it will melt a bit faster. Otherwise, you have to wait a long time before everything is entirely and completely melted. It now smells really nice of coconut, and it has a soothing, calming, refreshing, and delightful aroma. And then I will also prepare my lemongrass. The outer layer of the material is quite dry and tough, so I will carefully and meticulously remove that part. After ensuring it is completely removed, I will proceed to carefully halve it. When I reach the thick piece, I will make sure to handle it with care. I will also just simply cut it in half. This one actually comes from the freezer, so it is just still a little bit hard. Remove the outermost layer since it tends to be somewhat dry. So, okay, we are ready. Now I will warm up the pan and then we will add the bumbu. I have my pan ready now, and then I will take a little oil, because we are going to saute the bumbu now. And it looks like the pan is already warm. Then I will add the bumbu. It's quite a amount, of course, but yes. You also have approximately around 2 kilos of meat, so it should be approximately that much bumbu. Clean well. Well, this cooking plate is a bit slow, and I only just see that on the right side it is 1500 watts, and this one 2000, so I'm going to move it to the left side. It is a bit slow then. This is the 4th time I use it, so I'm going to move it for a moment. And then turn it off. Then it goes a bit faster, because otherwise it goes very slowly, of course.
And we want to fry this until you perceive the delightful smell of all the aromas and spices. If you perceive the delightful smell of all the aromas and spices, then we can just add the coconut milk in there. And also the other spices, the lemongrass and the Dawn turmeric. We add Dawn Jarok salam and asan kandis in there. And then also meat, but first this needs to fry for a moment, so to speak, until all the aromas smell nice, and then we can add it in. Yes, this is really a bit faster than the one on the right, so that is good. That was good for to make martabak mamnis. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's also super delicious. A sweet street food, but for rendang. The left side of the cooking plate is really better. The bumbu rendang is now cooking deliciously. So we will wait until you can taste all the aromas, or smell, I mean. We can't taste yet. But with aromas, I mean that you can smell everything, like the peppers, the onions, the garlic. That it smells a bit sharper, and then we can add all the other ingredients. Oh, by the way, you can also find me on Instagram. So if you have Instagram, follow me on Instagram or Megarasa TV. And if you make something with my recipe, tag me or let me know what you think of it. And on my Instagram, I also post all the dishes. Yes, what I make every day, actually. So for the kids, for the family, so not just Indonesian food, you know. So the color is a bit darker now. It's starting to come together now. I can smell all the aromas. It smells super delicious. Then I can add other things in it. I have here the lemongrass or the citronella, for example, which are known as Dawn salam leaves. And the John Jarok, this is Dawn punjit, such as the asam kandis, and also, for example, as well. Those are going in. I have here the coconut cream. I will also add that in. So we will just let this melt for just a little bit longer, and then I use that coconut cream because it just makes the flavor a bit creamy, you could say. If you don't have it and you already have one of these, that's fine too. But I find that from experience, and my mother uses that too. She also just finds the combination with those blocks, and this santum just tastes absolutely delicious, better. Then I'm going to add the rich, creamy coconut milk. At the very beginning, you just need to stir a little bit more often so that everything gets thoroughly mixed. I have mixed this well now. The coconut block has melted now. Now we can very carefully and extremely slowly put the meat in. I will very cautiously and gently place it a bit further back, because it is clearly splattering. I have, of course, 2 kilos of meat, and that is, yes, quite a lot. But again, I always make it, yes, quite a lot. And then I can divide it with a Ziploc bag or a container. And then I can freeze that. That is super easy. But if you think, well, I just make half, that is of course possible too. Then you only need to halve the ingredients. 2 kilos fits perfectly in my wajan. If you don't have a wajan, you can of course also just use the pan. It is important that you use a thick pan, that the bottom is nice and thick, because it is fit for stew meat, so to speak. Then the heat is well distributed through your pan. And yes, I just use old school a wajan for the rendang, and it is just nice and wide. You can stir well. I will turn the heat up just a little bit more. Soon this will just simmer gently and very slowly, of course. Sometimes it can really splatter here and there. Then I have such an what do you call it? What is this actually? Such an anti-splash lid. Well, my wok is of course wide, but yeah, it helps a bit. But if you have a smaller pan, then it's fine. Or just a lid, that can work too. So I'll let this simmer for a bit longer. Well, then you can simply relax now, watch TV, or if you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do that. And of course, press the bell icon. Then something delicious is ready, you'll get a reminder. Then you can watch right away. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. Look, it's just already beginning to simmer. Then I'm just going to prepare just a few more coconut shavings in just a little while. And I will leave this exactly like this for now. I've now moved the rendang behind me, so it's nice, simmering. And in the meantime, we will prepare the coconut shavings. Because we are going to make a serundeng from this. That means frying very slowly and carefully, very gently and evenly, until it becomes perfectly golden brown and crispy, just the way it should do. Gets a beautiful and appealing golden brown color. And we will mix this slowly and carefully with the rendang at the end when it achieves the desired consistency. Rendang is ready. When frying the delicious and aromatic grated coconut, it is important to stir occasionally and carefully, because it will change soon. Look, you can already see that it is getting a bit browner, so that goes quite fast. Don't set the fire too high, of course, just yes, like medium heat, the same as the rendang that is now simmering. And for rendang, I will, yes, about between 20-30 minutes. Then check occasionally, and then stir the bottom well, so it doesn't burn. You just keep stirring this. I bought coconut flakes at this one, Wa Nam Hong. I just don't know if they have grated coconut at Albert Heijn or at the regular supermarket. You should check. Look, as you can clearly see, the color changes very quickly indeed. It is quite fascinating to observe. Stir. The coconut is ready, and in the meantime, I just stirred the rendang because I think I set the fire a bit too high, so I want to make sure that the bottom doesn't burn. So just now, my husband, aka the cameraman, took over the serundeng for a moment, but he is now ready. Yes, the color is nice. It has turned a beautiful golden brown, and we are going to put it in a bowl. We will definitely, of course, only use this at the end when the rendang is ready. And I will put it next to it so I don't forget. And the rendang is just simmering nicely. And yes, now I think I'm going to watch a movie or something. Be careful that you check and stir every 20 minutes, half an hour for a moment. Yes, so it doesn't burn, so then it will be fine. and not too high a heat. That is also very important. All right, see you in a bit.
Well, the rendang has been simmering for 4.5 hours now. So, yes, that looks good now as I look. And then the oil rises to the top. And if you look as I lift them, the bottom is also not burnt. So this is after 4.5 hours, and every half hour I stir it a bit so that the bottom doesn't burn, and this is good. The color is also good. It can be a bit darker, but we have the coconut. I'm now removing all the leaves and the lemongrass because they have done their job. Look, this is the dawn, kunyet. It's quite long, so I just tied it up. This has also done its job. Now, scraping off the spice paste because it's just delicious. I'm also removing this, and soon you'll see the Assam candies. Look, this is the dunche. They are all dark and have also done their job. But if I don't do this, my husband always complains, especially about the Assam candies. Look, you can see the difference. This is really super dark, the Assam candies. But as I said earlier, this is very hard to obtain in the Netherlands, and if you use tamarind paste, then you won't have any issues. The salam leaf is also removed. Okay, and then I'm looking for Assam candies. Sometimes it's easier to do it with your finger. There it is too, and there. The color is super nice. Now I'm taking out the last donjerok from the rendang. If there's still some in it, that's of course not a problem at all. And we also have the grated coconut. I'm going to add that in as well. Just going to transfer it again. This is really nice for the flavor and of course for the texture of the rendang. And now I think I'm going to make the color a bit darker, so I'll leave it in the pan a little longer and then we're almost done. So I'll turn the heat up a bit because I want to have a slightly darker color. So, my rendang is now ready. It looks very good. It is nicely dark. The total cooking time is 5 hours long, a full 5 hours. But then you also have something, of course, that is super delicious. And I will now show you how the meat is. Look, and it cuts very easily, so it is really super tender. See? Very easy. This is really super delicious. I think this is my all-time favorite beef dish. Yes, I think I just eat it like this. Just rendang and white rice. That's it. I find that the most delicious, but yes, you can also eat it with yellow rice and everything. And lontong is super delicious, and we usually eat it during a sugar feast, for example. Or when there is something to celebrate, then we eat rendang. And that is actually quite a feast. Yes. Now we are going to serve it. Look, the rendang I made is quite dark, of course, and a bit drier. And if you like to have a bit more sauce, you can of course stop earlier. But this is how rendang is supposed to be, a bit drier and darker in color. Oh, this is super delicious. It also smells super good. And yes, it is a bit spicy. So, be careful. So, here. It is my version of rendang padang. Super delicious. Did you like this video? Support me by clicking the like button. And yes, if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe. And press the bell. And yes, see you in the next video. Bye.